So welcome everyone. Those who are on live, it's lovely to have you with us, especially some who can't often make it live. Um, and and to those who are listening later, I got such a lovely message from someone yesterday saying how she always listens later. Um, and so welcome. We hold you in this space as well. And today is Wednesday, the 26th of March. It's a new moon on the 29th on Saturday, but just not just a new moon, it's also a solar eclipse, which is connected to that lunar eclipse that we had 2 weeks ago. So it's like a supercharged new moon, kind of as Michelle McLuhan describes it, a new moon on steroids. So everything is heightened and enhanced. And so just to bear that in mind, especially as and it sort of lingers, the effects linger longer. And the new moon's always, as we've discussed so many times, the ending of cycle and the beginning of a new one. And this one is particularly powerful because it's a new moon in Aries. And Aries astrologically marks the start of a new astrological year. And it's always fascinating to me how so many of our religious ceremonies center around astrology. And of course, that is how we've always worked our calendars and always marked time. But that Eid falls on this astrological new year. So the end of Ramadan is marked by the new moon and the new moon in Aries. So sort of Ramadan and the time of fasting is completed at the end of the year as you step into a new astrological year. Um, so on this new moon, there's a strong sense of planting seeds for the year ahead. How do I want to show up? Who am I? Aries is as a fire sign and it's a fire starter. It's a sort of go-getting energy. It's an igniting energy. Um, and so this is our time for igniting what is to come in the time to come. So if you are able to find some time this weekend just to sit and to journal, to contemplate a few things of how you would like to see yourself showing up in the year to come, how you would like to feel in the year to come, this would be a good time to do it. And there's so much going on for so many people at the moment. I'll just share our things, and I'm sure I would love to be able to have a two-way conversation here because I'm sure that there's so much going on for all of you. Um, so on Saturday, Finn was playing rugby and was tackled from sort of behind it and fell forward onto his hand quite badly and got up. I put some ice on it, carried on, but then fell again on his wrist, and he's actually fractured his wrist. So that's disappointing for a little man who is just starting his rugby season and meant to be going on rugby tour this weekend. Thankfully, it's undisplaced and it should heal well. We had to have ultrasound and X-rays and all sorts. And then Pips has been having a good time in the bush. It's the tail end of her course, so they've been doing lots of assessments and there's lots of pressure. But she messaged us yesterday to say she was feeling awful and feverish and swollen glands, and we encouraged her to let the sort of staff know. And she went to the hospital last night to have investigations, and she's got tick bite fever. So, but she's doing well. She's in good spirits, and we've caught it early, so that's a relief. Another friend of mine messaged me this morning. She's got a farm just here, and she said the army worm invaded their farm, infested their farm yesterday, and so this is a huge thing for them with their cattle and their grazing, and so she's got a huge task on her hands to try and get this under control. And so I notice when we hear all these stories, when we hear all these have these things coming up in our own lives, there's a strong tendency in myself to resist it, to say it shouldn't be so, it's unfair, it's not okay, that's not how it's meant to be, and to really fight it and resist it. But this doesn't help the situation. And we've spoken about this before, about the arrows in our heart. Um, the first arrow is the actual pain of what's happened, the pain, the sadness, the disappointment, the trauma, the loss. And then the second arrow is our non-acceptance of it, or our non-allowing, like our resistance. And I see so much in myself. I'm so good at this. Where I fight it. I shouldn't be like this. Don't allow it. And this is what keeps the wound so open and raw. And this is where we gather together to try and practice mindfulness and practice allowing. And that is actually our poem for today, is Allow, which is one we've done before, but not for a while. And so I encourage us to, well, I'll read the poem shortly, but to try and allow the things that come up in our bodies, in our emotions, in our thoughts, to be there and to acknowledge that this is all part of the human experience. Everyone feels pain, everyone feels disappointment, loss, sickness, anger, sadness. We all feel ashamed, we all feel embarrassed, lonely and vulnerable at sometimes. This is all part of being human. Um, and this is part of our practice of self-compassion for ourselves. We all need some self-compassion at the moment, because it is hard and scary and stressful for us all, and we all have many fears and concerns, but getting stuck in them doesn't help. So it's important to pause and to feel and to acknowledge these feelings, and then they can often move on. So I've used the analogy before that it's a little bit like sometimes these feelings that come up are a little bit like a toddler who has got something to show us, and they come up to us and they are tugging on our arms, but we're having an important conversation that we don't want to disrupt. We're speaking to someone important. This is the moment to chat to them, but this toddler is coming and pulling on our arm and starting to get a little bit more agitated, upset, maybe even starting to cry. And we keep saying, I'm coming, I'll be there just now. But we keep on with our conversation. And eventually there starts to be a little bit of a unraveling, a little bit of a meltdown. And this we then excuse ourselves from the conversation, just give ourselves a moment and turn and acknowledge this little one, this toddler, and ask them to show us what it is they're wanting to show us, which they do, and we can look at it and acknowledge it. And then that little toddler moves on and carries on with their time. They skip off, now happily going to go and explore the world. But we've taken the time to pause and acknowledge, and then they can move on. And it's similar for the emotions that come up for us at this time. If we can pause them and feel them and acknowledge them, they can move through, as opposed to getting stuck. And the very word emotion has the core of motion in it. So it's something that should be moving through and not for us to be getting stuck in. So today we're going to do a practice of turning inwards and settling in our body and sort of noticing what's inside, noticing the weather pattern of allowing what we find. So I invite you just to take a few deep breaths, sitting in an upright and dignified position, or walking in an upright and dignified position, not leaning forward into the future with its plans and worries, and not sinking back into the past with its memories and regrets, but just holding ourselves upright and present and in this moment. And then just dropping your gaze or closing your eyes and just allowing these words to land. There's no controlling life. Try corralling a lightning bolt, containing a tornado. Dam a stream and it will create a new channel. Resist and the tide will sweep you off your feet. Allow and grace will carry you to high ground. The only safety lies in letting it all in, the wild and the weak, fear, fantasies, failures, and success. When loss rips off the doors of the heart, or sadness veils your vision with despair, practice becomes simply bearing the truth. In the choice to let go of your known way of being, the whole world is revealed to your new eyes. So just allowing our breath to settle, following the air as it enters your nostrils, as it moves to the back of your throat, moves into your chest and perhaps even into your belly. And then noticing how your body lets go and the breath exhales. Noticing if there's a slight softening as you do this, a letting go. And as you do so, just asking yourself, what is the weather pattern inside? What do we find here today? And just giving ourselves a little bit of time and space for anything to arise or nothing to arise. And then noticing your breath as if you're standing on the shore, both feet firmly planted in the sand. And your breath is the water as the wave rushes up and covers your feet. And then as the wave pulls gently backwards towards the sea. Just over and over. Feeling as if you're grounded firmly on the sand. The continual rhythm of the waves, like the rhythm of your breath. Noticing that it's always there, sometimes with differing intensity, sometimes different weather, but always the ebb and flow, the in and the out. Just attending to our breath as if for the first time. Noticing it with a deep curiosity. perhaps even bringing a feeling of gratitude for this profound but simple process that's happening every moment, keeping us alive, keeping us breathing. Now taking your attention to the weather pattern outside, just noticing sounds near and far. Noticing rising and falling of them, of the sounds around us. Letting go of judgment, letting go of control of these sounds, whether they're pleasant or unpleasant, wanted or not, and just allowing them to be there just as they are. And allowing the sounds to rest on your skin, on your body, allowing them in. And then coming back to your body, if you'd like to rest in your hands and your heart, noticing again the weather pattern inside. Offering a moment of gratitude for yourself and for this practice, that you gave yourself this time just to be. And tapping into this feeling of gratitude that sits in your heart space. And just allowing it to expand, feeling gratitude for what is in your life at the moment. And then perhaps inviting loved ones into the space. Those loved ones who might need a bit of more support at this time. Not trying to fix it or change it, just offering love and support to them. There is no controlling life. Try corralling a lightning bolt containing a tornado. Dam a stream and it will create a new channel. Resist and the tide will sweep you off your feet. Allow and grace will carry you to higher ground. The only safety lies in letting it all in. The wild and the weak. Fear, fantasies, failures, and success. When loss rips off the doors of the heart or sadness veils your vision with despair, practice becomes simply bearing the truth. In the choice to let go of your known way of being, the whole world is revealed to your new eyes. In the choice to let go of your known way of being, the whole world is revealed to your new eyes. And we're staying in our heart space for a few more breaths. Really cultivating feeling of gratitude, connection, of love. So that you can feel it expanding beyond without anything in our external lives having to change. Noticing that this feeling is always here for us. And then just taking a deep breath in and sighing out. Perhaps doing a few more of those. And when you're ready, just slowly moving into fingers and toes. Perhaps just gently rubbing shoulders and arms, giving yourself a hug, a moment of compassion, being there for yourself. And when you're ready, opening your eyes, taking in the world around us, names and faces. Thank you for joining today. Wish you a blessed day. Thanks to those who joined a little bit later. And then, as I said, next week I'm going to be traveling down to St. Francis, so won't be doing a mindful moment, and I'll just have to see, because I think the following week is when Pips arrives back late on this Tuesday night. So I'll be in touch about that, but there's a pause for next week. I'll put the poem on the group. Thanks, Jen. Yeah, thanks, Cheryl. Yeah, just lovely to have you here today. And feel free to share or to comment on the group, so that other people also can have a moment of self-compassion and allowing for themselves. Thanks, everyone. Feel free to unmute if you want, if there's anything you want to say, and otherwise I wish you a blessed day.
Hi, Nikki.
Hi, Ellen. Got some interesting insights for us.
Not as much as I haven't sort of got all the facts in a row, but there's a couple of really interesting things about your moving into Aries. Is this week the moon moves into Aries as well, and there's also a huge change in this eclipse, actually, with it going into Aries, changes the whole axis and goes into the next stage of eclipse season, which I can't remember how many years it is. And last week, Neptune moved into Aries, and in a month's time, um, Saturn, who's the great teacher, moves into Aries.
Mm.
So there's a lot astrological about the new year and the new start and the new changes of things, and the Saturn's in the mix is going to be quite an interesting one because he definitely teaches us lessons that we need to learn. So
Yeah.
he'll be going into Aries and retrograding back, and then going into Aries again, sort
Yeah.
of 3 times with his retrograde cycle. But yeah, it is the change is coming.
Mm.
What it's bringing, we don't know, but the change is coming.
And that's why we have to allow it and try and right.
We
Yeah.
have to allow,
Yeah.
have to believe that it's unfolding for the greater good.
Yeah.
Have to believe that it's meant to be. I mean, the last period of time hasn't been that amazing, so maybe we do need to have a bit of a shake up. And
Mm.
but
Mm.
who knows? I don't. I don't have that clairvoyance.
Michelle McClellan did a lovely sort of little video if anyone wants to know more, because she goes into it so much more and some
Mm,
of what Ellen's just touched on. She went into, I tried to follow some of it, but I need to re-listen to it to actually get a handle on it. But yeah, it is fascinating. So thank you.
mm. In
Yeah.
the meantime, a beautiful day in St. Francis, and looking forward to having you down next
Oh,
week.
thank you. Yeah, we look forward to it
Yeah,
too. Yeah.
super. Yeah, thanks.
Are we enjoying them?
And tick bite fever's mean. I hope Pepper recovers quickly from that.
I know, me too. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks,
We'll
Ellen.
see you next week. Okay.
Yeah. See you
Bye,
next.
next.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks.
Okay. Bye.